So by definition, this is probably the last car that my regular audience is expecting to see on my channel, because I'm all about roaring engines, shifting my own gears, you know, all that good stuff that people who love driving care about in a car. But I have to say, after reading a great book about Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, I was getting really excited about the Model S, because Elon Musk is a guy who spent his first millions on a McLaren F1 and pretty much daily drove it. I mean, what a legend. You don't daily drive a McLaren F1 if you don't love cars, that's for sure.
Electric cars have been known for over 100 years. But Elon Musk's passion for outrageously fast supercars and vision to lose the dependence on fossil fuels have resulted in one of the most powerful and fastest accelerating sedans the world has ever seen. Or, to make it sound really boring, a full-size plug-in electric 5-door luxury liftback, as Wikipedia calls it. Now, you've all read the headlines about this car, and as good as they may sound, the technology behind them is almost shockingly simple. A giant battery pack containing over 7,000 lithium ion cells in 16 modules hidden in the chassis floor between both axles, and two simple 3-phase AC induction electric motors connected to open differentials create an all-wheel drive chassis with electronic power distribution and no mechanical linkage between both axles. While both engines are good for up to 772 horsepower combined, the battery-limited max motor shaft power is 539 horsepower and a scarcely believable 967 Nm of torque. The battery capacity in kilowatts marks the different model names from 70 to 90, while the letter D stands for dual motors and all-wheel drive. The model range goes from a simple base Model S70 with just one engine and rear-wheel drive up to this fully loaded Model S P90D. With the optional Ludicrous Speed Upgrade and a 90 kilowatt battery, it's capable of 0 to 100 kph in just 3 seconds and has a claimed range of up to 500 kilometers on a single charge.
So we are going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to take you guys on my 110-mile evaluation route that I call my Heidelberg loop, actually. Which is a really nice route. You drive from Frankfurt on the Autobahn A5, one of the fastest autobahns in Germany. For me, actually the fastest road in the world, with many unlimited sections, to Heidelberg. That's about 50 kilometers or so. And on the way there, there's actually one of these supercharger stations from Tesla, so we can try that. See how fueling the car is working with this system that they offer. And yeah, then we head into the beautiful city of Heidelberg, for me the most beautiful city in Germany, to do a little bit of city driving just to see how comfortable the Tesla is. And then we head out of Heidelberg, along the River Neckar, really beautiful road, and into the Odenwald, onto my favorite driving roads. Just because, yeah, Tesla claims on their website that this is a driver's car, and as you guys know, I know one or two things about driver's cars, and I'm very critical when it comes to driver's cars. So yeah, let's see how the Tesla does driving German style, I would say. I mean, we see all these great videos on YouTube where people accelerate from a standstill to 70 miles per hour, which is very impressive. But I really want to see how the Tesla does at higher speeds, above 100 miles per hour or so, let's say, just to see how it works driving German speeds. So follow me along, guys. I will place the camera here next to me, mounting it on the sunroof so that you have a nice view on the road. Let's see how that works. Let's see how driving the Tesla Model S P90D in Germany actually feels like.
Driving off, you instantly notice the strong engine recuperation lifting your foot off the accelerator pedal, which basically feels like heavy engine braking in a normal car. As a result, you can drive the Model S pretty much without using the brake pedal in normal traffic, unless you want to come to a full stop, which adds a lot to the comfort and ease of the driving experience of the Tesla. The interior is dominated by a 17-inch capacitive touchscreen, which operates the whole car and all its features, including the power sunroof. My test car came with a premium Napa leather and Alcantara interior package, great feeling sport seats, and the cold weather package, which includes a heated steering wheel. A great place to sit, even though the complete absence of storage nets or cubbies annoyed me just as much as the optional high-fidelity sound system picking up frequencies from my cell phone and transmitting them into the speakers even when the volume was turned to 0. Minor flaws really, which can't distract from the fact that the Model S is one of the easiest and most comfortable driving cars out there, with a unique design language that might already give people enough reasons to end up buying one.
Hopefully the traffic will go away so I can accelerate to the top speed of 250. I actually did that last night, and then you have the speedo turning red, I believe, at 240, but I guess there's a little bit too much traffic going on, but let's see. What I do like is actually the fact, of course, that this car is really quiet, and when you're traveling with it, that makes the driving experience really nice, of course. I hate people that stay in the left lane all the time. Well, at least you get a real world experience of the German Autobahn. Oh, come on. Thank you. So now we are at 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, and I don't have the balls to try more. But I have to say, given that this car makes a claimed 500 somewhat horsepower, the acceleration at higher speeds above 180, if I go full pedal now, there's not that much happening in comparison to some of the super sedans that I've driven. A Panamera Turbo, BMW M6, Mercedes CLS 63 AMG will pull harder than this car at high speeds, definitely. But it stays really stable. The steering is nice for high speed. They actually introduced something they called Autobahn tuning for the German market, and a few upgrades actually seem to work really well, I have to say. I like the steering. It's not too fast, not too aggressive. A little bit of play here off center, but yeah, totally works for me. But the acceleration from, let's say 150 is still very impressive, but nothing like the acceleration at lower speeds. And if I look at the range, I have to say, speeding a little bit. That was just a short acceleration, as you guys saw. The battery is going low pretty fast, so yeah, interesting experience.
Tesla's own fast recharging stations are called superchargers and can be found all over the country nearby main roads. They allow Tesla owners to charge their car with up to 120 kilowatts per hour as a free service with currently 55 stations in Germany. On long distance drives, the sat-nav will calculate a route using the superchargers, which will work even better the more stations are added to the network. I found charging from a low battery to about 80% the least time-consuming operation, with about 45 minutes of waiting time. The superchargers certainly add to the Tesla experience as a meeting point for owners and welcome excuse to eat too much fast food from the nearby burger restaurants. I was more skeptical about the Tesla's autopilot cruise control, and while I never fully trusted it, the system works surprisingly well, even during heavy rain on the Autobahn at night, giving the front-facing radar a proper challenge. On a straight road with light traffic, it's a comfort feature I struggle to criticize and used much more frequently than I had expected.
So now we are in Heidelberg. There is the famous Heidelberg University here on the right, and we can talk about driving this car in a city. And I have to say, in the city or in towns, driving an electric car is a very, very pleasant experience for me. The Tesla is something that can be adjusted in so many ways. I'm not even sure if I want to mention everything, but basically you can adjust the suspension here, put it higher and lower, and I just put it into the normal sport mode for the acceleration, just to have a bit more range. Of course, you can put it into the insane or ludicrous mode here, but then the throttle response is also a little bit lazier in sport mode, which is more pleasant driving in a town. And you can also adjust the steering here in 3 different settings. I have it in the sport mode. Let's put it into the comfort mode. Yeah, then it gets really light, and yeah, not my taste actually. I will put it back into the sport mode, but it's a really comfortable car. That's what I want to tell you. You can even switch between different modes for driving off. So you can let the car creep by itself. So when you take your foot off the brake pedal, then it starts creeping, which I like, especially when you're parking the car. I think that's really convenient, but you can also switch that off. And that's just one of the big advantages of these, driving computers, that everything is fully adjustable. I mean, the steering is an electric one. Still pretty impressed actually by how good it feels to me. It's not that far off from systems of the German cars that I've driven, like the Panamera or some of the Mercedes cars that I reviewed with electric steering. So they've done a good job on that. What else can I talk about? The ride is pretty good, I think. As I said, it's adjustable, and just a really pleasant car to drive. I'm just looking forward to now driving over the bridge here, over the River Neckar, and then we drive alongside on the side where the Heidelberg castle is actually. But I like driving on the side of the castle more, because then you can look to the left side over the River Neckar and have all these beautiful mansions and old houses there, which cost millions. Let's see if we can get a little glimpse at them. But driving the Tesla in a town and driving it as a comfortable sedan is a very pleasant experience, I have to say. And of course the fact that you don't have an engine roaring, which is something that I normally really enjoy, but I guess many people will enjoy the fact that this car is so silent that you only have road noise. It's really a different experience. I mean, I'm already a little bit used to it because I drove this Passat GTE recently, which also had a full electric drive mode. But I totally understand why so many people like these cars and why they have become so popular so quickly. For normal commuting, this is a great experience. So now to my favorite part, the dynamic test, driving the Tesla Model S on one of my favorite driving roads here in the Odenwald. And immediately you notice this big weight of the battery that is all in the chassis, and this gives you just such a great balance actually that totally surprises me, if I'm honest with you. The car feels really nicely balanced. Of course, everything is in the sport mode right now. Steering in the sport mode feels actually pretty nice, I have to say. I like that it's got some weight to it, you know. I don't like steerings that are too light, off-center. There's a little bit of play, but really not that much. And given that we are playing with one of these electric systems here, it's doing a good job, I have to say. I mean, there's no real sense of connection to the road, but I like it. And the acceleration, of course, is quite something. So, let's see how the cornering is. Bit of body roll. And interestingly, given that the bigger engine powering the rear wheels has actually almost or about twice as much power as the front engine, I sometimes felt like accelerating out of corners, you do feel that the rear engine has so much more power that you almost get a little bit of oversteer initially when you drive into a corner at high speed like this here. You do feel a little bit of understeer, especially here in these wet conditions. There's not that much feel for the front axle, but with this all-wheel drive system, the car pulls out of corners really nicely. Not really that much feel for the front axle, but still a good driving car. Dynamically, I really do like it. If we leave out this eco discussion, leave out the thoughts if this big battery is really that eco-friendly and if generating electricity with the resources that we have at the moment is really that eco-friendly. As a car and from the driving impressions that I've had, over the time that I've driven it here, I really would like to spend more time in this car actually. Mr. Musk, if you're watching this, get me a long-term tester. But no, actually, from the driving perspective, from a driver's point of view, the Tesla Model S is really something that even the most die-hard petrol heads, I think, will enjoy. I mean, this acceleration and just how well this car works is something that you have to appreciate, I think. And it makes you wonder why something that is as simple as this has not been on the market for longer. It just, when you meet people that ask you questions about this car and then you say, well, there's no clutch to replace, there's no oil to refuel, there is basically no mechanical linkage between both axles. Those are just things that normally could go wrong in a car. This is basically a big driving computer with 2 electric motors, and we all know how reliable electric motors normally are because yeah, they are just so simple. I guess I could keep on rambling for a long time here, but in the end, I just want you guys to know that from the driver's point of view, I really enjoyed this car. The performance is very impressive, at least during the legal speeds in most countries. Once you are driving higher average speeds, it's something different. And I would say the biggest problem for me driving this car in Germany would actually be using it as a business car. Not having the same range and same convenient range as in a diesel car would still be something that I would think about buying a car like this when you're in Germany. But even that is hard to criticize because with this Google Maps system here, which calculates the route so that you take your stops at the supercharger stations, take a little break. Taking breaks when you're doing long drives is better anyway, so it's not really something that I can criticize, I think. And this supercharger network is constantly building up. There are constantly new stations coming. Yeah, I think many people would be very impressed driving this thing, for sure. And yeah, that's the end basically, I think. That's all I want to say before I keep on rambling for another 10 minutes here. So tell me what you guys think about the Tesla Model S, guys. Many of you asked me about it. What do you think about it? Have you driven one? Do you want to drive one? And yeah, I hope they are going to build more cars that are focused on people that enjoy driving. That's what I want to say here. So I see you in one of the next reviews. Make sure to check out my Facebook and Instagram page if you want to see what's coming up next earlier than just having a YouTube subscription. And yeah, take care, drive safely in the winter here, and I see you soon, guys. Take care.